how the budget is enacted, and that's where all the money comes from, is from the budget. So it's like a bill is used to finance the debt or settle the debt. So I guess in summary, we're looking to recognize the value of these pieces of paper, these matters that are coming to us, and taking the value that we see in those things and actually using them to settle the debt. Instead of trying to do labor or work in something else on the side, like perform or something to pay your phone bill, you actually can use the bill itself to pay the bill. And you know, for me, this is just, you know, you're just getting this from me, so it's really all hearsay to you. You got to kind of like test the waters and just kind of read these manuals of these systems that are operating inside your body that you can go experience outside yourself. You know, if you want to read the Treasury manual, it's with the United States Department of the Treasury. You can go read it. If you want to read the manual that the White House puts out, you can go to their website and check it out. And you'd be surprised at the power, what they call their income. Well, the Internal Revenue Service calls their income revenue, but the Treasury calls it receipts. And so just recognize the value of those receipts, those raw materials that has been passing through your hand all day long, and actually using that value to achieve a balance, you know. So it's also a great way to transition from a scarcity state of mind, because a lot of us, we think the system's kind of broken financially because we're always operating in scarcity. We have to do all these different things to end up settling a debt, like working 8 hours or something like that. And it's kind of operating in a way of scarcity, because it's like you have to do so much just to stay at a balance, just to settle your own debt, where actually the money actually already comes to you. And all you need to do is recognize how to play the cards right, and you can settle everything honorably and be in harmony with the system. So I guess one word I kind of want to close on is the word value. And that is that a person gives value for rights when a person acquires them. And so if you can kind of leave with that idea in your mind that anytime you give something, you're automatically receiving something automatically in return. That if you were ever to give anything of value, you are automatically, something is coming back immediately, where you are acquiring the value at the same time. So if you can just recognize that value and learn how to move it in the card game, you can settle all your debts just by these pieces of paper that actually most of us just kind of put to the side or we throw away and we think that they're worthless. What's the time? 3 minutes? Okay, is there any questions real quick? We have just a couple minutes. Is there anybody have a question or anything? Go ahead.
When you send this stuff back, you send the bill back?
Yeah, there's a couple things that are kind of put in place, and it's a little bit complex to go into right now, in great detail. But basically, you're gonna take this card, you're gonna get this card, and from this card, you're gonna get this thing called drawing rights. Okay, and so it's just it's your turn to draw in the card game. You now have the ability to draw off of the bill that you got, and if you actually just treated that bill as, oh, I have this thing of value, you can, with your drawing rights, you can make a new piece of paper by reflecting the information on here onto another piece of paper and making a new account, right? A new record for the new experience, because every time something moves, there's a whole new value that's created, a whole new reflection. It's like every time there's a new birth of a flower or something like that, it's a whole new 100%. So every time, if you were to make a new piece of paper, you're actually just reflecting the value. You're not taking away from the value, and leaving. It's not like when a flower has babies. Yeah, the mother's there's definitely some energy put into it, but the mother doesn't just completely die right there. The mother's still there, and now there's the child. And so it's the exact same way. Those lineages and those heirs, that's why the monarchy comes from, was heirs. We're dealing with fictions on paper, symbols on paper, and these symbols come from other symbols, which is just like, you could say they're the heir to the throne of that kingdom. And so each time you have a new agreement, it's a new kingdom that's created. So it's it's so colorful, it's amazing. I mean, I guess one more thing real quick, and then we'll do a little closing thing with the violin. And that is, when you get a summons to court, okay, the word sum, S-U-M, means to be in Latin. And there's the word M-O-N, which is moon. So you have to be moon or to be moons. When you're summoned to court, it's an offer, because everything that comes to you is an offer in life. And an offer is to be construed as inviting acceptance. So it's actually an invitation. And remember, I was telling you that everything is a ship, that the piece of paper is actually a vessel holding those words that are symbols, that you are actually a vessel, right? That this body, is a vessel, right? That's carrying the spirit. And so you're actually invited to a birth when you're summoned to court. And it's kind of funny because the people in court are called parties. You're actually invited to a birth for the parties, and you have to bring your presents, and you're looking to have tea. And so there's a crazy, wacky fantasy that is actually going on. That's why we think the court is out of control, because truly they are. They're truly playing a game. And just recognize that it's just a game, and kind of move back into discovery, and just remember how the game is to be played. So we're going to do a little closing thing, just to keep some things in mind. In closing, we encourage the people to entertain peculiar and radical ideas that may assist in improving the liquidity of the way we exchange value with one another, the liquidity of this current sea. Let us recognize the myth of the law. Let all books of account appear as books of color, which we use to convey our ideas to one another, projecting themes of agriculture, raw materials, royalty, birthdays, tea parties, and valiant ships that nobly sail the seas of space. Observe how we are making a band. Let us make notes for a record with our instruments, which will serve to cross a bridge as tender presents that, when formally accepted by the audience, will result in an accord between the parties. Let the pitch of our notes sound clear and clean, just as they are conveyed in this hearing, imprinting all to sing and celebrate the glory of the currency appearing. Let all parties be persons, and all persons be personas, and all personas be masks, and all masks be titles, which are cast a role to characterize this play, and conduct our affairs theatrically, with balance and with way. So shall the well fare, social welfare. For the fair is well when we wish farewell. And in law, let these terms assure that the fair is well and the fair is real. The fair is real. The fair is Ra-El. The fair is the sun god, who rains rays through the air, lending light to the other bodies who are willing to share. Within these rays are keys, which the moon arc brings, by the night of the world, whose message of honor subtly sings. Thank you. Oh yeah, good idea. I wanted to give a website we've got some information that you guys can check out. It's orderofmerchants.com, orderofmerchants.com. Go ahead and check it out. And my name's Zach. And so if you have any questions about the little talk today, you can come up and see me or shoot me an email at orderofmerchants@gmail.com. Thanks.